guys believe the internet? You guys are adults that believe what you read and hear in the newspaper. You guys are talking about things with no research. That's not fair. Actually, I'm going to keep it on.
So I prefer to squash this or apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing for all of them.
I'm at the point of no return. I'm at that point.
Dame's talking unity, Harlem's hearing apology, Cam saying point of no return, and the internet's lighting up like crazy. Tonight we're breaking down that so-called olive branch. Was it growth or a silent surrender? Dame's peace talk sounds poetic, but when you put it next to the laughter online, it starts to sound like he's fighting to save face. He says, I want to apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing, but this isn't Dame Dash on attack mode. This is him trying to sound like a wise man from the boardroom. Calling it embarrassing to Harlem flips the beef into a brand issue. Harlem's name got dragged into messy optics. Great IP, but bad look. His message? Stop feeding the gossip machine. Sit down off camera, get the money right, then come back on camera with something real. A move that shows black unity hits harder than internet beefs ever could. But here's the danger. The internet turns apologies into memes before contracts even get printed. And that's where things get tricky. If fans believe the rumors, this looks like Dame waving the white flag. But if they believe the receipts, it looks like leadership. He's trying to shift the proof, no longer living in the comments, but in the deliverables. Real talk, that means clear boundaries on what a paid-in-full spinoff would even take. Life rights, soundtrack, likeness, and who's really holding the keys. This time he's betting on structure over shade. If Dame really wants Harlem's trust back, he needs signatures, not slogans. Talk is cheap. Harlem wants ink on paper, not another speech. A real EP attached, clearance map locked in, timeline clear as day. But every second he preaches patience, somebody else drops a punchline. The streets got a code and Harlem grades hard. Don't drag family in, don't humiliate the borough, and don't flip pain into clicks for profit. Dame's message is poking those exact nerves, especially when Cam keeps shouting point of no return and 50's out here selling confidence like it's a movie trailer. In that world, unity starts looking like weakness unless there's paperwork proving power. So now the question's simple but heavy. Can Dame turn embarrassing Harlem into empowering Harlem and put it in writing? Two major walls are blocking that peace offering. First brick, Cam's boundary. He ain't arguing about contracts, he's saying trust is gone for good. When he calls it the point of no return, that's not shade, that's policy. He's saying they can be cool, but business? Off the table. Second brick, the trolling economy. That old clip of Dame saying we can beat 50 and Cam still flies around the internet like wildfire.
I want to apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing for all of them. And I can't be violent and I won't be violent. My job is to keep them out of jail. So the only way I can deal with things is keep certain things out of the algorithm. It's to answer as soon as somebody says something. If y'all want to sit down and work it out and maybe do a TV show together, just showing the world that we can work together.
That one moment of bravado feeds the timeline and makes every apology look like a pivot instead of a principle. So how does Dame fight viral laughter? With time and paper. Because if 50's flexing on pure momentum, the joke costs nothing. But once contracts and rights grids hit the table, that same flex could turn expensive fast. If 50's got real deals behind those taunts, the laugh suddenly becomes leverage. But Cam, his boundary won't move just because a pen hits paper. That's not a contract issue, that's a code issue. No more dragging family, no more rumor recycling, no more ammo. From this point on, the only thing that counts are receipts. And in the next chapter, we'll find out what owning paid in full really means, not just what it sounds like, and if Dame's cap call can actually stand the test of Harlem's truth. This is where Dame's apology smacks right into the paperwork, and the truth gets real messy. Everybody online keeps throwing around the word owns, but in film and TV, that word splits into a whole maze of lanes. You got underlying story rights, remake and sequel rights, title and trademark control, life rights from the real people involved, plus all the legal stuff, distribution, music masters, publishing, and even the right to reuse images from the first movie. One lane lets you talk about it, but several lanes let you build it, and only when you own them all can you deliver. That's why this Prove It challenge is hitting so hard right now. So let's line up the claims and see who's really holding weight. On one side, 50's moving like it's already go time, bold captions, Harlem backing him up, giving full green light energy. But on the flip side, Dame's answering the tough question out loud. Did he ever actually own the thing everybody's trying to expand now? And if he did, how could anyone have swooped in and claimed ownership in 2025 without him being part of the deal? The truth hides in the fine print. Options, assignments, shopping agreements, and that sneaky gap between based on and authorized. Anybody who's ever tried to clear a docu-series knows the game. The internet crowns its winners long before the lawyers even finish reading page 1 of a contract. Here's the real giveaway. When the right situation is clean, execs can't stop bragging. But when it's messy, everyone suddenly starts talking about vision while lawyers grind quietly in the background. And that's why Dame's olive branch might not be soft at all. It might be strategic, sitting down on or off camera and walking Harlem through a grown-up convo about who really has the power.
I'm at the point of no return. This was totally unnecessary. The way it went about for me, you keep going on the internet looking for internet sympathy.
It don't matter if you win or lose. Swing on them. That's my hitter. I feel I could beat them with a little lesbian, white girl. I just want to see if we can do it for fun. Let's go battle Cam and 50 because 50 stepped into the comp.
So the real checklist goes like this. Who wrote the original screenplay? Who controls the sequel and remake rights today? Can anyone even use that paid in full title as is? Has anyone locked in life rights from the surviving figures? And what about the music and logos? Are those licensed or just wishful thinking? If those answers come back clean, 50 walks away with both perception and paper. But if they come back muddy, Cap stops being just a diss and starts sounding like a diagnosis. You can buy the rights, sure. But there's also a third lane nobody talks about: coexistence. It's totally possible to build a brand new series inspired by the same true events without touching any protected elements from the original movie. That's a whole different product with a whole different promise. But it only works if the audience truly believes the new team can tap into the same people, stories, and gritty details that made the original feel real, and that's exactly where the olive branch comes back into play. If Dame's serious about this unity talk, the quickest way to make the jokes expensive is to move the whole debate off Instagram captions and into contracts. Harlem doesn't need another viral soundbite. It needs receipts. Real dates, signatures, deliverables, the kind of proof you can post without feeling embarrassed. And there's another reason to slow things down: consequences. Tossing out a casual "we own it" in public can get ugly fast. You could end up clashing with estates, unions, or rights holders you'll need later down the line. And throwing around "they capping" without facts, that can turn into a defamation nightmare if you guess wrong online.
About it.
Did you own Paid in Full? Like, how did 50 Cent acquire ownership of Paid in Full?
Do you remember when 50 Cent was supposed to be putting out a documentary about Puff on Netflix?
Yes.
Where's
The smart version of this fight isn't flashy, it's actually kind of boring to watch but beautiful to count. A clean chain of title, a clear calendar of deliverables, and 3 grown men realizing Harlem wins most when nobody's forced to lose. But let's not pretend money doesn't twist everything. That bag changes how people talk. The Breakfast Club turned the whole thing into a meme. Numbers cut out of context, bankruptcy papers turned into punchlines, and fans trained to see restructuring as a confession instead of a business move. Dame's trying to zoom the camera back out, showing that fatherhood costs money, lawsuits cost money, and sometimes restructuring is just how you keep your business alive to fight another day. But none of that matters in the court of social media if humiliation is the only metric that trends. And that's exactly where the trolls eat. They turn confusion into content. 50 mastered that game. His brand is built on perfectly timed humiliation. One 7-word caption can travel farther than a 40-page contract, and that right there is the power Dame's trying to flip back in his favor. You don't have to win discovery to win delivery. In this game, all you gotta do is make the other side look unserious. Every stray flex becomes ammo. So when Dame cracks that wild joke about beating 50 and Cam with a white lesbian rapper, yeah, it's clearly theater, right? But screenshots don't care about context. Online, jokes turn into receipts. Suddenly, the apology looks shaky, the pivot looks forced, and the internet's running with that perfect split screen, peace talk on the left, cocky clip on the right. That combo alone got people saying he messed up a lot.
From Paid in Full? The thing there is I was there. I don't have to buy rights for my own story. I already told those guys' story. Now I'm telling my story, my Paid in Full.
I've been paying $250,000 a year in child support. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm broke? Yeah, I'm broke because I give it all to my family. Don't you understand?
So talking more won't save it. The only way out now is policy. Step 1, separate family from content, period. No sons, no partners, no private struggles used for promo. Keep the personal sacred and the business clean. Step 2, overshare the business side and in plain English. Let Harlem see the revenue lanes, the partners, the milestones, and who's signing what. Transparency kills confusion. Step 3, drop something that actually moves the scoreboard for Harlem, not just the egos. A funded pilot with neutral producers, a cleared soundtrack moment that only real connections could pull off, or a community project that literally puts money back where attention was taken. That's how you show change, not just talk about it. And here's the tough truth. The audience loves vulnerability, but only when it's not weaponized. If you really want to kill rumors, don't post more quotes, post proof. Drop facts in formats that can't be edited, an audited statement, a judge's order, or a dated deal memo. That's how you starve trolls, because trolls only live when there's new chaos to chew on. Once the noise dries up, they vanish. Replace that constant stream of defensive posts with actual progress, table reads, location locks, a casting drop that Harlem can celebrate. When the story moves from drama to deliverables, the internet can't spin it anymore, and that's when Harlem finally wins one for itself. That's how you flip an algorithm. You feed it results, not rants. And yeah, the other side's still gonna laugh, but who cares? Laughter's cheap, delivery's expensive. The longer your paperwork stays clean and your projects keep moving, the more those old clips start looking like fossils from a whole different era. In the end, Harlem doesn't care about talk. Harlem judges by who shows up with something finished. Those still dragging yesterday into today, they already lost. If the apology's real, time will show it, and it'll either grow into a partnership or at least a peaceful understanding. That's the real Harlem codebook right there. In Harlem, a public back and forth isn't a flex, it's already a loss. So when Cam dropped point of no return, he wasn't talking legal, he was talking cultural. He meant the line wasn't crossed on papers, it was crossed in principle. Private friendship turned into public content and private boundaries got flipped into public dares. Once that happens, an apology can't just sound nice, it has to repair the code.
Now, I say what I say, and then my son calls me and says, Cam gave him some money to do an interview on his show. And that really bothered me, because Cam knows, he known Boogie since he was born. He knows our relationship, the reasons for certain things. That would have really damaged our relationship. It would have fucked up.
Now I'm at the point of no return. I'm at that point. Because for me, it was totally unnecessary. The way it went about, for me, it didn't have to be public. It didn't have to be all this. All I said, I hate repeating how this started. I didn't pick the phone up. All I did was not pick the phone up, and you keep going on the internet looking for internet sympathy. Like he's doing now.
Dame's olive branch was aimed straight at Harlem itself when he said it was embarrassing to Harlem. That's strategic, because Harlem's rules are bigger than both of them. No family drama, no circus for clicks, and definitely no staining the block just to trend. If you break that code, the only way back is to over-respect it in public. That means fewer captions, more structure, a sit-down off camera, a clear on-camera statement of terms, and a deliverable that makes Harlem look stronger than the beef ever did. That's the blueprint for redemption. Meanwhile, the crowd's got popcorn ready. Dame knows that. He's framing the whole situation like an OG teaching from experience. The kids, the fans, even the haters, they're all watching to see if he slips into meme territory. That's why this apology hits different. It's not about losing an argument, it's about refusing to keep feeding one. If the real goal is to stop embarrassing Harlem, then the fix is simple. Stop giving the algorithm cheap Harlem. Build Harlem instead. Every signature, every finished scene, every paid creative, that's what flips the narrative. Because at the end of the day, legacy beats laughs every single time. The politics of this whole thing are simple and brutal. The first man to stop the circus looks like the leader, but only if his paperwork and his principles line up behind him. Otherwise, that silence turns into surrender, and whoever's got the loudest caption wins the crowd. That's the game now. Welcome to Internet Court, where evidence is optional and confidence is king. All you gotta do is sound like a green light and boom, you are one, at least until the lawyers step in. That's how 50 keeps winning round after round without ever flashing a single signature. He's not selling proof, he's selling inevitability. And that's how an apology flips into a punchline. If the crowd believes the rumor, the mature move suddenly looks like waving a white flag. The only real counter? Move slower than a caption but faster than a rumor. Put facts in forms that can't be clipped. Drop deal memos, clean title chains, and dated milestones, then say nothing until the next one drops. Memes can't survive when the only thing left to eat is progress, but the second you toss out a boast, the internet feasts for a week straight. Even Dame knows how the joke machine works. He calls it out while still cracking jokes himself. That's the trap of internet court. The more you try to steer the narrative, the more you end up feeding it. The fix isn't some clever clapback, it's starving the beast with boring excellence. Just dates, deals, and deliverables one after the other until the noise dies on its own. So here's the real blueprint as we approach the finish line. Policy, not posture. No family names, no rumor recycling, no new meme ammo. Proof over vibes, always. If 50's claims are legit, then put that paper out publicly. If Dame's cap call checks out, then walk Harlem through the grind. Show what's cleared, what's still pending, and why. And finally, stop posting, start producing. Drop a table read date, a locked clearance, a real project Harlem can point to and say, that's ours. Because in this game, the winner isn't the loudest one. It's the one with receipts that talk louder than captions ever could.
That's not the ideals that I want him to be. That's not the message. And that bothered me. It was embarrassing in that way. Like, damn, my OGness, my teaching is wrong. What's wrong with this? But I'm like, I don't know why he's doing it. And then I was gonna respond, but I was like, that's what everybody wants to see. Like 50 and Steve Stout, they're at pocket.
It's this thing, you guys believe the internet? You guys are adults that believe what you read and hear in the newspaper, and y'all talk the most not. So you guys are talking about things with no research. That's not fair. See, the problem is, and this is, actually, I'm gonna keep it on you.
So my question, could you cut me off question?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So my question is...
You cut him off too, Dave.
I said,
A neutral EP cosign, that's the real key, one that actually means something to Harlem. Because when the internet's the judge, the only real appeal is delivery. Every time a new milestone drops, the old jokes start sounding like reruns. That's the kind of progress no meme can stop. But still, there's one roadblock no contract can bulldoze: personal policy. Cam's boundary was never just legal, it was about how a friend handled another friend in public. If that's the wound, then the only fix is a private one. No cameras, no captions, just a quiet room, a real apology, and a decision about what comes next. If Dame wants his peace moved to read as strength, then men handle that behind closed doors, and because memes don't mend anything. So here's the 3-step blueprint for the grown man pivot. 1. Principles, a public promise to keep family out of content, period. 2. Paper, full clarity on paid and full rights on record from whoever actually owns each piece. 3. Product, a dated milestone the city can circle and say, yeah, they really did that. That's how you shift the whole energy from Instagram talk to inked signatures. If those answers come back clean, everyone wins. 50 keeps his momentum, Cam keeps his code, and Dame proves his olive branch wasn't surrender. It was a workflow. That's real leadership. And if that's where this lands, business over banter, then the only question left is, do the other two want to win bigger than just a laugh? Because last time we checked, premiere dates don't lie. Dame already put that olive branch on camera. Now he's asking Harlem to judge him by what he ships next, not by what got clipped last.
I didn't mean to make a funny joke to guys that make jokes all day.
I want to ask you about a comment you made in our last interview about imaginary player. You made a comment about how Jay, he was taking shots at Mase, but you also said that he was taking some shots at some other rappers. Do you recall the other rappers he was taking shots at?
It was like whoever was out at that time, it was everybody. Everybody was putting, not fake diamonds, but they were putting, Rolex didn't make them, because that's what Jacob was doing. Because only dudes know how much watches really cost, and all the billionaires now I know, they wear these. And I need mine because I got my blood sugar on.
Cam drew a line no contract can cross. 50 grinned and kept selling momentum like it was already locked in. We've seen this movie before. Apology versus algorithm. The only twist that could make it different this time is delivery. If the next headline we see is about a clearance grid being locked and a table read officially scheduled, boom, the laugh track dies on its own. But if all we get are more captions and clips, then the timeline wins again. So here's the bet. These 3 men already built empires. The question now is whether they can build one more thing: discipline, the power to stay silent when it's time to work. Harlem will believe in the unity talk the moment it can circle a real date. Until then, we're just stuck watching reruns.